But I feel like the equivalent for Kasahara in the States would be the word Karen.
Welcome to Late Night in Japan. We're Steph, Mike, and Tate, three Japanese guys with rich overseas experiences. In this podcast, we dive into real-life stories, the highs and lows, and the quirks of living in Japan. If you're curious about Japanese culture and what life here is really like, you're in the right place. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, Osaka Expo opened on April 13th, I think. So, we're seeing a lot about Osaka Expo on the news, but have you guys been to it?
No, but I'm going tomorrow, actually.
Ooh.
Tomorrow. That's nice.
Yep.
Are you excited?
I'm excited, but I'm kind of dreading it because it's Golden Week and I just know it's going to be jam-packed.
That's true.
What about you, Steph? Any plans for Expo?
Not at this moment. I'm probably considering July-ish. I think that's when all the pavilions are completely built.
I see.
That's true. 'Cause there's still like some pavilions that aren't finished, right?
Yeah, it's still under construction.
I remember seeing on the news that India was still under construction. I don't know if they finished yet.
Well, yeah, so before you guys go, I guess you might want to check the guidelines the Expo committee formulated for customer harassment.
There's guidelines for customer harassment?
Yep.
Highlights.
Yep.
It's still Japanese.
Yeah, it is. So I saw this on the news, but since the opening on April 13th, I guess, the Expo committee have been adjusting to, failures and, trying to familiarizing unfamiliar tasks for, a better experience for the customers. But there are still inappropriate behaviors seen in the site, which eventually led to the formulation of the guideline. And the Expo committee will not hesitate to take legal actions.
Legal actions, like they'll sue you?
Yep.
Oh.
It's kind of extreme. Damn.
They're going extreme. So yeah, Japan is known for all kinds of harassments, like starting from sexual harassments, power harassments, moral harassments, smoking harassments, and they even have smell harassments.
Smell? Wait, what's that called?
Smehara?
I haven't even heard that. Damn.
So,
That means if you smell bad, that's harassment.
yeah.
It's basically saying you stink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
don't have to say it's harassment.
I feel like there's just too many categories of harassment in Japan.
Yeah.
This is like, you can literally put it at the end of every word.
Yeah, so out of all harassments, customer harassment is a fairly new type, where unreasonable complaints are considered as harassments and, potentially you can be prosecuted by one. So today, I want to dive into customer harassment and how this is becoming a big thing in Japan. Yeah, so to start off, is this word or concept familiar within your workplace?
Well, I've heard of the word Asahara, but I wouldn't say it's familiar in my workplace. Mainly because I work in B2B, what we call it. It's not B2C, so our customers aren't like everyday consumers. So it's not really service work. So our customers are just other companies. So I would say interactions are pretty civil. So yeah, I wouldn't say Asahara is an everyday occurrence in where I work.
I see. How about you, Steph?
Well, for me, actually, I work at a B2C. So, customers sometimes call our company and try to ask us to do something crazy. But we have countermeasures. We also have these guidelines present and public. So for us, it's like we have the company to refuse to replace or repair products if a customer tries to like threaten us like verbally, or try to like when calling us, just trying to call us for a long ass and like trying to get their way through just negotiating and like wasting our time. That's officially counted as customer harassment. So we sort of like the Baku Expo. We have those guidelines set at our companies as well.
Nice.
I see.
That's good from a employee standpoint.
All right. So that being said, maybe Steph, you might be more familiar, but what do you think are behaviors that might be seen as customer harassments?
Behaviors that could be seen as customer harassment.
Yep.
I think it's just like the customer taking advantage of their position they're in. Basically, they are customers, so there's sort of an imbalance between the two people, the worker and the customer itself. And then the customer tries to, when the customer has a sense of like superiority and doesn't treat the other person as equal.
Yeah, they kind of leverage that, right?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, like excessive hours talking to the company on a phone call. You're just wasting the other person's time. I mean, even after arriving at a conclusion, just don't give up. Just keep calling, and it's difficult for the employee to just like cut the phone off because they're representing the company.
Yeah.
The customer uses that as their advantage and tries to get their way through. And I think that's just one behavior that bad customers have.
Yeah, I would say like being abusive verbally and physically. Like physically obviously, but most cases verbally, I would say. And like even Japan has that word, okyaksan wa kami-sama. Like customers are gods. Like you should treat them as a god, which is, I think, is BS. But
with that,
especially if you had a job in customer service, like, and you've been on the receiving end of those terrible customers, it really like changes your viewpoint on that whole okyaksan wa kami-sama.
Good points. So verbal abuse, taking advantage of the service and stuff. So actually I'm reading the guideline for the expo, and one thing that I thought was a little bit funny was a dogeza no yokyu, the requirement to require a dogeza, a request for a dogeza. So people who don't know so people who don't know what dogeza is, it's a type of apology where Japanese do, where you kneel and you how do you explain it?
You go heads on the ground as well.
Yeah.
And just apologizing.
The most extreme way to apologize in Japan. So as Mike mentioned earlier, I personally think okyaksama wa kami-sama is BS. But first of all, I don't like how Japan categorizes everything into some kind of harassment. But I think things are starting to change, because okyakama wa kami-sama was this standard concept for more than a decade, especially in the service industry. And this concept has been cursing workers and forced to tolerate unreasonable, actions by customers. I like how the Expo committee took actions, and, I'm seeing a lot of changes in Japan.
Yeah. I think there were no like real legal countermeasures to go against customer harassment before, and that's why like companies and these events are setting up these guidelines so they can fight back now.
I won't go into the details because we don't have time, but I feel like the equivalent for kasahara in the States would be the word Karen.
Oh my
Meme.
Requesting to see the manager at every second.
I love watching Karen videos. They're so pathetic and stupid.
They're entertaining though.
Yeah, so to wrap up, I don't want our listeners to misunderstand the concept of customer harassment, but this concept exists to protect the workers, but to also to provide a pleasant experience environment for everyone. So if you're going to the expo, please comment and share your experience, and yeah, so please like and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next episode. Sayonara.
So next time,
Like, don't do customer harassment.
Oh yeah.